From FightHype.com. I'm here with Steven Bredman Edwards. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I wanted to ask a little bit more on the mind and the trainer of someone who produced so many great fights and so many outcomes in the sport of boxing. How was Caleb Plant in this overall training camp?
He's been awesome. That's all I can say. Every day he's been 100%. He gets the most out of his workouts. You don't never leave a workout thinking that it was wasted. Every single workout, he gives you 100%, and I feel like that. I leave as a trainer, you know when you had a good workout, you feel it. And every time he works out, I know I've had a good workout with him. So he's been awesome.
No, I know you just don't take camp for anyone. I know that you reside in Philly and family is very important to you. So, you had to make sure that this fighter was a fitting for you, and it made sense. After going through this camp right now, do you feel like you were exactly right when you...
Yes, I do.
And why is that?
It got to be worth it, man. I got a 10 and 11-year-old. I just can't leave my family for anybody. So there's a lot of jobs that I haven't taken because it's just, I just can't do it. I got my own business. I train other fighters in Philly. And on top of that, I got family. So it was definitely worth it. The wins and losses come, you know what I mean? But what he puts into the camp and what he's willing to give me is the most important thing. The wins and losses will take care of themselves. So I'm not saying it after the fight. I'm saying it right now, and it was worth it, regardless of what happens on October the 15th.
And then seeing the fact that everything goes well, Jamal, Charlo, David, Benavidez, these are the big fights the fans are asking. I'm sure you want to see it yourself just as a trainer. Just what's your overall thoughts as them as future opponents?
As a trainer, man, you always want to pitch yourself and go up against the best, and see where you at, in this game. And, it's not always about whether you had the best guy, because I don't care if I had the most talented guy. I care if I have the most willing guy. I don't play that role in Caleb's camp as far as picking who he fights and who he don't fight. I'm his trainer. He has a manager. He has Louis the Cubans. He has Al Heyman. So they all take care of that with him. I played a different role with my other fighters, so I have more say in who they fight and who they don't. I didn't even know this opponent that he had with Dirrell was already taken care of before I even came along. So with him, I just gotta get him ready to fight. It don't matter if they told me he had to fight King Kong. That's who I gotta get him ready to fight. David Benavidez and Jamal Charlo, two great fighters, man. And we gotta go up against something. That's just, that's just what it is. But that's not my control with his camp.
And then just a few last questions, because I know that you gotta go train. I appreciate the time that you're giving. Just seeing the fact that you're a great trainer, I have to ask about the Crawford Spence fight. You don't have to pick a winner, but just as a trainer, I just need a little bit of insight.
I don't like to call myself a great trainer. First of all, I got a little bit more work to cut out for me. I want to see me produce a couple more world champions before I say that. I think I'm an excellent trainer, but not a great one yet. As far as the fight is concerned, I know this is gonna seem like the political answer, but I would rather see how they looking in camps and see their temperaments and things like that, because I think it's a close fight. I think that I think Terrence is the puncher in the fight, and I think Earl is the boxer. And I think that it's really hard to win rounds from Earl, and it's really hard to escape getting stopped by Terrence. So I think it's a little bit of the perception of the fight is a little bit different than what I actually think the fight is. I think it has a little bit of a Leonard Hearns feel to it, where when Leonard and Hearns fight, even though Leonard was a great boxer, he's the puncher when he fights Hearns, and Hearns is the boxer when he fights Leonard. But other than that, just ask me like closer to the fight, because I think it's close, man. I do, man. Earl got a great jab. For whatever reason, people don't consider him a great boxer because he's not fancy. He kind of like doesn't do a lot of moves, and he doesn't slip and slide a bunch of punches, so it's like looking like he's not boxing, but that's just far from the truth. He is boxing. He's just doing this with sound fundamentals. He keeps his hands up, keeps his feet up under him, and he keeps a hard jab on you. So he don't really get credit for his elite level boxing, but he's a tremendous boxer. He's hard to win rounds from, and he keep that jab on you. He kind of boxes like Hagler did when Hagler was young, where it's not fancy, but it's real super effective. And Crawford, probably a little bit more naturally talented. Like, he can kind of improvise and just do stuff on the fly in the ring. But I think Earl is even with him in terms of just boxing ability. I just think Earl comes forward more with Terrence trying to run you into traps. So, people say that he's a better boxer. I think the advantage that Terrence got. Terrence is like a master adjuster. He like catches on to something where Earl stops you and kind of beats you down. Terrence hits you with more devastating shots than what Earl does. He hits you with shots you don't see, and he puts you out. Like, I think the Kell Brook fight is a good illustration of it. Even though Kell Brook is past his prime when he fought Crawford. Crawford hit Brook with like a weird kind of like a street punch. It was like a half. It looked like a hook that turned into a jab. It was like over his shot, and like people don't usually throw that shot where Earl just kind of grinds you out and beats you up. So there's a little bit of a difference in it. So they both have advantages over each other. I think it's a great fight. I wish it was 15 rounds to really decide it, because 12 rounds may not be enough. They may have to fight a few times to settle it. Both of them get better as the fight go on. Both of them mean. Both of them are competitive. I think it's a can't miss fight. But I just think the perception of the fight is wrong. People think Earl is the slugger because he's coming forward, and I think Earl boxes going forward. He's aggressive, but he's boxing well, and I think actually it's harder to win rounds from Earl than it is Terrence.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I think that Terrence gives up more rounds than what Earl do, but he lowering you into a trap to knock your head off. He's like a vicious dude, and he's like lowering you into traps, you know. So I just think the perception of the fight is wrong because Earl comes forward more. But we'll see. They got to line up and go in there with each other and figure it out. I got a lot of respect for both coaches. Derek James is a great trainer, and Crawford has Bomac and Red, and I forget the other guy's name.
Yeah, it's like a three-man squad.
Yeah, they got a great team. You know, Red and Bomac, they're my boys. So no, I'm just looking forward to it just as a fan. You know, I really don't even really want to make a prediction.
You don't have to. We'll wait. We can wait. I'll come back to you.
The honest truth is I don't have one right now because I think it's really close, and I think it's going to come down to who has the better camp, who's the most dialed in. I think it's going to come down to that. I think it's one of these kind of fights. You know, one little off thing could cost one of the other ones to fight.
And my very last question, and I appreciate the time, just wanted to get, you know, your thoughts on, you know, the YouTubes and like the exhibitions, like with Floyd in Japan. Is that a negative thing or a positive thing?
You know what, man? It's never negative. Somebody's making their money legally.
Absolutely.
You know, so I come from a place where so many people make an illegal living that, you know, you can't knock somebody for making their money legally. But honestly, I don't really follow it. You know, so I don't watch them. I don't rent them. I don't do all of that. You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather's probably the best fighter of the last 2 decades. But I don't watch that, like, if he's fighting. I just seen it. Y'all was talking about it in here before, the guy in somewhere in Asia.
In Japan?
Yeah,
no,
I don't watch that. So I really don't know what it's doing, how many pay-per-view buys. I don't know who the opponents are. So you're asking the wrong person, you know. I just, you know,
but overall,
I'm a hardcore boxing fan, but I think it has to be good because it's giving boxing a platform.
Absolutely.
And it's giving fighters, because from what my understanding, they do have actual professional fights on those cards.
Oh yeah, they put real fights on the card.
Man, listen, this market is crazy and it's messed up, and these guys are not getting a lot of work. I got a kid here who hasn't fought in a year.
What's his name?
Davis, he had a draw with Anthony Dirrell. And so he hasn't fought, you know, since he fought David Benavidez. So, you know, the market is crazy. So anytime somebody's giving fighters platforms to fight, I'm good with that. Because, you know, everybody, nobody forced us to make a living doing boxing, but it's a tough living right now, especially for fighters that are under the radar. You know, everybody sees the big guys that's making 7 figures, but people don't see the guys that are coming up that have to get to that point. So, you know, if that's good, and Jake Paul, he provided a big platform for the women's boxer, Amanda Serrano. She could fight her butt off, and now she's finally getting some exposure because of him. So you can't knock that, man.
Well, also, I appreciate the time. Where can he find you on social media or Twitter? Because I know you're always going to speak your mind.
Breadman Boxing is on Twitter, and The Breadman is on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Awesome. We'll see you October 15th. Thanks for the time.
October 15th. Appreciate it.